you love to play. Oh, you love to play. Don't your comments won't relay. Sign this on my page for you. Oh my God, he changed. Young life, I can't see back karma. I just need some brains so I could keep myself in order.
He got problems, she got problems, only I got 411 problems. Hey, hi, what's up, y'all? It's time for another story time, and welcome to my V card in the street pharmacist. When I'm telling these story times, as I explained to my son, me and my son are good. At this moment, when I'm recording this, me and my son are good. We have conversations. So we're good. So whatever y'all think when y'all see the story times, and most of my story times are pre-recorded. They're scheduled. As of right now, when I'm telling this story time, I'm scheduled out. My story times are in March of next year. And I do that because life is unpredictable. And you never know what's going to happen. I could walk out this door and be gone. And as I told my son, even when we go back, because we go back on my channel and look at vlogs, and I be like, see, like when I'm no longer here, you can go and watch us have good times together, or you can go and you can hear my voice. Because right now, I'll give anything to hear my mom's voice. Anything to hear her voice, anything to hear her sing. I might need to, I don't know. I'll figure that out somehow. Anyway, but like that's literally why I got consistent with my YouTube channel. After my mom took a turn for the worst, and I think this was like her 4th time in hospice, it was like, get serious about your YouTube. My homeboy, I've told this before, my homeboy was like, you need to do YouTube. And this was 2013, 2012, 2013, around that era, when my homeboy was saying, you need to do YouTube, you need to get serious about YouTube. If I would have just listened. I wish I would have listened. Because there were so many things that I took pictures of and that I recorded that I no longer even have anymore. Anyway. So, when I'm telling my story times, I'm not telling them, people be like, oh, you just put your business out there. No, I'm more, as I told my son today, this morning before I left to go to work. I'm telling you stuff so you can be better than me. And when parents say that, they're not saying that to belittle their experiences or what they've accomplished. When they're saying be better than me, they don't want you to make the same mistakes they did. They want your life to be easier. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, y'all feel like y'all can't wait to be adults. Why? You got to pay bills. You got to be responsible for other people if you have kids. You got to make sure you go to work. Like, you got to make sure you're on top of everything. This life, this whole situation, like, life is unpredictable. There is no instruction manual. So I'm a little confused on why you in a rush to be responsible. Because, I mean, there's certain things as a kid you have to be responsible for, like your room, your chores. And literally, that's not, because a lot of kids think like, my parents just want me to be a slave. No, that's teaching you to clean up after yourself. Because you're at an age now where you should be cleaning up after yourself. You're not a baby anymore. But you're also not an adult. Anyway, so when they're telling you, like, be careful with certain situations, or that's not your friend, is because your parents had already experienced it. It was so many things my mom would call out, and I'd be like, this lady don't know what she's talking about, and it would happen spot on. And I'd be like, if I would have just listen. Now, there were some things like, of course, because time changes and then new things come up. So there was some things, of course, that she wasn't aware of, and it was some things that I had to put her on too, which with each new generation, that's how it goes. But as my grandma used to say, there's nothing new under the sun. Anyway, let's get into it. So, this story time pertains to this story time. And I think I gave too much, to be totally honest. As far as I know, this man don't even know where I'm at. Because as I stated, in that story time, he was like, I'm giving you a way out, take it. Very, 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 very true. Sometimes when you're in that situation, the only way out is death. So you have to be real careful, because again, my little young behind thinking I'm doing my big one, or thinking that I'm cool or in a safe space, and the whole time people walking up on me and know me, and I have no idea. They knew my face and I have no idea who they were. But they knew my boyfriend. And in this game, there are competitors. And most of the time, the competitors don't go after that person. If they really trying to make a statement, they go after your people. Okay, so I met this dude. The first time I saw him, what we gonna call him? We call him Brown Eyes. The first time I met Brown Eyes, honey, because he had like these hazel, pure honey, these hazel, pure honey eyes. Like, his eyes were gorgeous. He had these caramel skin. He was like 6'2", 6'3", but he wasn't like heavy. He was slender, but kind of slim. You know how the girls be like slim thick? He was kind of slim thick, meaning his shoulder. You know how you have like the broad shoulders, but you kind of skinny, but you got weight on you, if that makes sense. Anyway, the girls get it. Dudes, I don't expect y'all to understand. Well, not the straight dudes. Anyway, so I first met him. I was hanging out with, what I call her? Wildin' Out. I was hanging out with Wildin' Out, right? And when I tell y'all, me and Wildin' Out have stories, we have stories, but I've only chosen like a couple that I'm telling. A lot of the times, some things we're just taking to our grave. We're taking to our grave. Anyway, yeah, so Wildin' Out at this time was dating, what we gonna call him? Hood. Because he was the hoodest of the hood ninja ever. When I say hood, oh my, hood. So Wildin' Out at this time was dating Hood. Something like that. At this point in time, Wildin' Out, when I say Wildin' Out had a roster and Wildin' Out was the pimp, Wildin' Out was a pimp. When she, what did I call him? When she was dating California, like California kind of put her on to certain things. But also, Wildin' Out, like, we grew up around boys too, like dudes. So we watched certain things. Like, for me, I learned a lot from my SA. And I also learned a lot from watching my brother. Like, I learned a lot. Because most of the time, like, I'm sitting back and observing. So I learned a lot by watching him. And then sometimes he would drop little jewels in situations too. So it would be like, yeah, like I would kind of be put on by certain situations, but wilding out, like her family was huge, so it was like she had a lot of boy cousins. So a lot of times with them, we would pick up certain things and learn certain things, or they would say certain situations and we would pick up on it, or they would be like, hey, don't let no ninja do this, 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 and this, and this, and this. Well, at this time, wilding out was outside, as I told y'all, she was outside, and so it was like she had a roster. She had a roster. And so I was like, she was like, and this was a point in time where we was just hanging out. I think we was just riding, like, for something to do, because we would do that. Because at this point in time, gas was cheap. Gas was like 99 cents. 99 cents a dollar, no more than $1. So we would, $5 was gas money at this point in time. So when you see the meaning be like $5 is no longer gas money, for y'all it was never gas money. For us, $5 was gas money. $5 would give you a good half a tank, almost a quarter of a tank, meaning almost full. So I was like, but she was like, come on, let's just go riding. Like, we was just riding. We was just hanging out. Like, we was just doing whatever. So she was like, oh, let's pull up on Hood. And I'm like, girl, who is Hood? And so she was like, I'm going to introduce you to Hood. I'm going to introduce you to Hood. Because the one thing about Wildin' Out, like, she would always say, like, my sister, my sister, my sister, my sister. And she was like, my sister, like, because I stayed home. I did. I stayed home a lot. Especially once Nightmare left, it was, like, finally peaceful. That's literally what I look for. Like, a lot of... Like, I have a homeboy be like, you don't want to do nothing. You just want to stay here and watch TV. And it's like, you have to understand, at a point in time when my essay started at 7 years of age and lasted until I was 14, it lasted for 7 years. So 7 years of my life watching TV, the stuff that most kids take for granted, coming in, watching TV and just being cool, calm and collective, taking a bath, taking a shower, like, that stuff was target areas for me. Y'all were able to go home and be chill. Me sitting in front of the TV to watch cartoons was a target area for me. Chores was used as a target to keep me in the house. Lying about me not doing my chores. Me playing basketball and him being frustrated because I'm playing with boys and being outside, so you would lie about me not doing my chores so you can keep me in the house, so you can SA me. I can't say the M word on here. Anyway, so yeah, most of the time, like, I'm in the house. So a lot of times when, like, my good friends are talking about me, or my best friends are talking about me, and they be like, most of the time people don't believe it, because it's like, who is she? Because I'm never around, or you never see me because I work, I go home. You never see me. Or if I'm hanging out with them, like, we're on vacations and we're on trips. And if they don't want to be in pictures, like, and my friends are saying, hey, don't take pictures of me, I don't want to be in a video, I don't put them in the video and I don't take pictures. You see me. You see me posted. You don't see them because they asked me not to post them. They asked me not to mention them. So I'm respecting it, right? So anyway, most of the time she was talking about me. Most of the time I'm home, because finally there's some peace in here. At this point in time, my mom hasn't started dating, what do I want to call him? The truck driver. My mom hasn't started dating the truck driver. So I'm okay. Like, I'm okay, right? And I'm trying to enjoy the peace. And so most of the time, Wildin' Out and Nia would be like, come on, let's go. And I'll be like, I'm good, y'all go ahead. Or they'll go to the club, they'll go to the scene club. But we had quite a few clubs that we would pull up on. They'd be like, come on, let's go to this, and let's go to this club. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, so it was like, most of the time when they was talking about me, most of the time these dudes would be like, this sister don't exist. And so this one particular night, she was like, come on, let's go ride, let's go hang out, let's go pull up on Hood. And so I was like, okay, yeah, let's go out. Like, I had been in the house for a while. It probably wasn't none of my shows on TV. Know what I mean? And so I was like, okay, yeah, let's hang out. I probably got tired of being in the house. I was like, okay, yeah, let's go. Like, I agreed to it. So I'm riding, like, we riding around. And it was nothing because at this point in time, McDonald's had, it wasn't 5.3. I mean, it wasn't 1.35. It was literally like 99 cents, $1. We had dollar menus. And our dollar menus was like, you could get, what was that thing called? A McDouble. You could get the McDouble for $1. You get the McChicken for $1. I think at a point in time you could get 4 nuggets for $1. You get the little small fries for $1. You could get like our Sunday, our ice cream machine worked. So we could go pull up and get a strawberry sundae with a small fry for $2.12 at this point in time, because taxes was like 6 cents. 6 cents on the dollar. So it was literally like $2.12. Oh, I'm lying. No. Taxes was 3 cents. So 206. 206. It started going up. My bad. Yeah, so it was like 206. Or you could go to McDonald's to get a whole Happy Meal for like $3. So you go get the whole meal, get your meal, you get your chicken nuggets, cheeseburger, whatever. At this point in time, we may get a cheeseburger meal. Anyway, we could go, like, you could go out, hang out, have a good time. $20, you was really balling. 15, okay, because 15, I'm putting 5 in the tank, like, to chip in on gas, because if you put in 5, I put in 5, that's 10 in the tank. Tank is full, probably over full, and we got the money left over to eat. Because you should always have money in your pocket. You don't expect nobody else to front you. But anyway, my friends was like that, and we was like that with each other. If I ain't have it, they had me. If they didn't have it, I had them. So that's how it worked. And stuff was cheap, again. But we didn't throw nothing in each other's face like, oh, I fed you. I didn't. Like, we didn't do all that. If we were friends for real. Anyway, so we finally, like, we pull up on her. So we pull up on girl. I was like, girl, where are you taking me? Because I know, like, because, again, we're called, like, the country. And then we're going to the city. So we're in the city. And I'm like, girl, where are you taking me? Where are you taking me? And so she was like, girl, just flow. Just flow. Because we are in the depths of the hood. Girl, where are we going? She was like, we good. No, we good. They know my car. Why they know your car, sweetie? Why do they know your car? And so she was like, girl, come on, get out. I promise you it's cool. It's cool. So when we walk into the house, it literally was cool. Like, wilding out again, she had a roster, but she had this personality. Not only was she absolutely gorgeous, she had a body, she had a personality to match, and she was extremely smart. But when it came down to the street, sometimes you were a little oblivious. For me, being S.A., it's like I'm always watching, I'm always observing, I'm always looking, so I can pay attention to the little things and try to catch the little warning signs or innuendos that's given off by people, right? So we pull up, and when we pull up and we walk in, Hood's mama was like, hey, like, she all excited. And so she was like, baby, you want me to go ahead and cook? I couldn't wait. Where you been? It's like she had missed her or whatever, and she was excited. And I was like, what? And it's like, of course, because we're in the hood and you with a hood ninja, it's hood ninjas everywhere. It's a hood ninja party. It's a hood ninja vending machine. Hood ninjas. They outside. The ninjas are outside, but at this point in time, like, they in the house. So clearly, like, everybody know, like, when you're in the hood, or not necessarily even the hood, like a neighborhood, there's one house that everybody go to. So clearly, when I walk in and I'm seeing all these people, and I was like, oh, okay, your house is the house that everybody goes to. Or maybe this is just your homeboys, but then that's what I found out later. Like, this was literally like your crew. This was literally like your homeboys. Like, everybody from the hood wasn't cool to come in the house. This was literally like your crew. So we standing there, and I don't know where the hell we was going. Were we going to eat after? Maybe we was going to eat after. And I think, like, that was our excuse to leave. Because she had said like he don't like me to go home, like he don't like me to leave, and so she was like, that would be the reason, like you're my reason. But you'd be like, yeah, I'm hungry, let's go. And so with me being like new or whatever. So anyway, so when we pulled in, so of course the mama was excited or whatever. And then he was like, who is this? Because he looking at you sideways, because it's like, who you bringing in my house? Who is this? And so she was like, this is my sister, the one that I always talk about. This is my sister. She was like, Angel this hood this Angel. So he was like, oh, yo, you do exist. You do exist. And I was like, yeah. What makes you think like I didn't exist? And so he was like, she talk about you all the time, but I never see you. And I was like, oh, I just like to stay home, like I'm a homebody. And he was like, oh, you know what they say about them girls who like to stay home? And I was like, no, what do they say? Them the ones you gotta watch, them the sneaky ones. And I was like, oh, ain't nothing sneaky about me. I was like, I just went through some stuff, and right now my house is peaceful. And so he was like, I can respect that. And I was like, he was like, oh, you straight up with it? And I was like, yeah. He was like, I gotta keep my eye on you, sister. I gotta keep my eye on you, sister. What you keeping your eye on me for? Like, and that's one of the things that I've learned from SA. It's like you came in lying, a wolf in sheep's clothing. No, I'm gonna be straight up. I'm gonna be straight up with you. What's up? What are you here for? What's up? What's your deal? Tell me. Keep it 100. Anyway. So I was like, yeah, like I'm cool, like it's nothing. I do exist. I'm her sister, but like I'm straight up with it. There's no beat around the bush or hiding or nothing with me, right? Well, lo and behold, one of my cousins who I didn't know was my cousin at the time. No, this was a different situation. No. Yeah. No. Yes, that was a different situation. Different situation. Anyway, so yeah, that was a different situation. Scratch that. Anyway, so yeah, so we sitting in the house, we chilling, and the mama was like, baby, I can cook up some chicken and stuff right quick for y'all. Y'all hungry? Y'all want to eat? And she kind of shot me a look. And I was like, oh, yeah, we already had plans to go eat somewhere else. And I was like, so that was the whole reason we came over here. But she told me she wanted me, to come over here. So, like, to meet you because you feel like I don't exist. Like, you feel like she be lying to you. And so he was like, oh, yeah. Okay. That's what's up. Yeah. I have been hounding her for a little minute about you because, yeah, I did. I thought she was lying. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, you got your whole crew in here because I'm looking around. And so he was like, oh, nah, these are my people. And it ain't no crew. These are my people. This such and such, this such and such, this such and such. And this my brother right here. This Brown Eyes right here. That's my brother. So Brown Eyes was standing up. And so I was like, oh, okay. And so he was like, nice to meet you. And I was like, oh, okay, nice to meet you. And he do like, that up and down look like dudes do. But I just, like, for me, I don't think that's interest. I just think dudes, like, when you see a shapely girl, you just look at her up and down like that. For me, at the time, I told y'all, I'm a little slow when it comes down to, oh, this person like you. Because all my friends or my cousins or my homegirls who close to me, they be like, girl, you won't. And I be like, who? Who like me? You ain't noticed that? No, I don't. I ain't paying no attention. You say, oh, you pretty, thank you. And I just keep on going. Or the up and down look, again, I've seen that over and over. So for me, like I told you, I've had a butt since I was 2. I'm just used to ninjas looking at my butt. Not that you really interested. Just thank you looking at my butt. And then for me, like in real time, real talk, it's like this, like I don't think I'm like that pretty girl, like the pretty girl where you gonna want her because I'm not the light skin. This was a big time situation back then too. I'm not the light skin type typical chick. So they're not paying no chocolate girl no attention. Keep it moving. Not paying no attention again. So we was sitting there, and so he was like, yeah, y'all should stay. Brown Eyes. He was like, yeah, y'all should stay. Mark can cook, Mark can throw down. And so Hood was like, right, he was like, sister, you need to come and taste my mama chicken. Don't flex on my mama chicken. And I was like, why would I flex on your mama chicken? And so he was like, because you tell me we got somewhere else to go. He was like, this is a free meal right here. This is a free meal right here. Mind you, Hood is a street pharmacist as well. And so I was like, ain't nothing ever free. And when I said that, the whole crew looked at me like, it was like, the movies or the part when it's like John Wick at the end of the first movie. Second one. Second one. I think the second one was when he unalived the sister because of the marker. I think that's the second one. Yes. Second one is when he unalived the sister. And so do you remember the part when the continental manager he was like, if I'm excommunicado, why hadn't nobody killed me? Why hadn't nobody unalived me? Why hadn't nobody taken me out? And he was like, because I haven't made it be. And so, like, he showed his power because he was like, and everybody stopped moving all at one time. That's literally when I said ain't nothing free. Everybody who was doing whatever stopped moving and looked at me. So Hood was like, oh, yeah, you my sister. You my sister. You my sister. You my sister at this point because, oh, I could tell you got some street in you. You got some street in you. And I ain't thinking about street. I'm just thinking about the BS that I went through in my house. I went in the street. I was home. So for me, it was like, ain't nothing free. Like, it ain't nothing free. Nothing is, in my mind, at this point in time, like, I haven't had any counseling. I had nothing. Like, it's just a little girl just trying to protect herself. And literally, like, I'm just straight up, straightforward. There's no beating around the bush because this nightmare played in my mama face and played in my face like the anyway. So yeah, so it's like, it's just certain things I know now, like I pay attention to, and it's like the little girl is talking, but the little girl is also protecting this teenager at the time, because at the time I'm a teenager. So he got excited because he like, oh yeah, you hood with it. No, I ain't hood with it. Not at all. And I'm like, I ain't hood. Like, we live in the country. We live in the country. I speak for me. I was like, I live in the country. I live with the Caucasian people. And I ain't say Caucasian, I said the W word. I live with the white people. Ain't nothing hood about me. Nothing. You come on my street, there's a little section here and there that may be a little hood, but there's nothing hood about me. I just have street smarts now because I had to grow up fast. But you don't know that. I'm just letting you know, like, hey, there's nothing hood about me. So he was like, oh, nah, I can tell. Yeah, this sister right here, I'ma put out word, protection. Me, again, unaware of what that meant at the time. Unaware. And so she was like, girl, I told you we good. And so she was like, but I just wanted to come and introduce my sister because you thought I was lying. So I think he was giving her a hard, like he had started giving her a hard time, because at this point in time, he's one of the people on the roster you're dating. And so, like, her other people she's dating, of course, is under the radar. It's under the radar at the time. And so we're getting ready, to leave because that was the excuse for me to go out to eat. And she was like, yeah, he gonna be cool with it because it's like his first time meeting you. And so he was like, well, you sister, so sister can have whatever she want. You don't want to stay, you want to go pay for food, F it. You pull out this water money. Here y'all go. Go ball out. And I didn't move. I didn't take the money. And so she was like, thank you. Like, she was like, yeah, we gonna go. I'm gonna make sure she eat good. I'm make sure. And I'm like, again, nothing is free. So I ain't take the money. So when I ain't take the money, Brown Eyes was like, And so at this point, like, you're sitting on the sofa. And so I looked over at you, and he kind of gave me a nod, and I gave him a nod back, and he was like, all right, bro, I'm going to holler at you. He was like, all right, brother. And he walked out the door. Brown Eyes walked out the door. So we go, and she was like, girl, come on, let's go eat. So he was like, yeah. And I was like, well, thank you for dinner. Thank you for food, because you giving us the money. And so he was like, that's what's up. He was like, yeah, no doubt. So we go and we get in the car. And so we get in there, she's like, yeah, sister, yes. And she was like, I got this water money. You don't want this money? She was like, girl, how much is it? And so she counting out this money. He gave her like $200. At this point in time, ain't no meal coming up to $200 for two people. I don't care if we was going in a restaurant. No meal was coming up to that. She was like, yeah, here you go. She was like, here go your half. And I'm going to put this little part in my pocket. And I was like, girl. She was like, girl, we about to go eat. Let's go eat. I was like, all right, let's go eat. So we rode around for a little bit of minute, and then she was like, what you want to eat? Where you want to go? And at this point in time, stuff used to stay open for a good little minute. Yeah, I'm just shooting y'all. Stuff used to stay open for a good little minute. So she was like, you want to go through the drive-thru? What you want to do? And I was like, yeah, let's just go ahead and do the drive-thru, because it's getting close to me, like curfew. It's time for me to go home. So she was like, oh, okay, yeah, I forgot about that. And so she was like, well, your mama's still at work. So at this point in time, well, not at this point in time, it was literally most of the time, my mama worked 12-hour shifts. And so at this point in time, she was working 12 p.m. to 12 midnight. Because sometimes that would flip from 12 midnight to 12 p.m. But this particular time, she was working 12 p.m. to 12 midnight. So I can call and ask her, like, hey, I'm about to go ride out. Like, if I'm leaving at a decent time, of course. But I need to be home. I think when school, was it 10? It was either 10 or 11. 10. 10. Because my senior prom, midnight, was her giving me extra time. Yes. So I had to be home by 10. At this point in time, it's 9:45. Girl, come on, let's go. Let's go. But at this point, like, I'm in the clear because my car is there. So even if you call and I'm not answering the phone, I can always say I'm in the bathroom, I was in the tub, etc., where I couldn't come to the phone. At this point in time, there's no call. There's no call ID, so you had to leave a message, and I'm going to call you back, of course, when I get home. So as long as I'm home before you, for me, I'm cool. As again, I said, like, my cousin stayed next door, but most of the time my cousin was asleep because she had to be up to work real early, and her commute was over an hour at this time. So she was asleep. My granddaddy was pimping bigger and better than me, and wilding out put together. So I ain't have to worry about that either. You pull in. Once you pull in, long as I'm making it before my mama get home, because I know, like, my mama commute was literally 15 to 20 minutes right around the corner. Anyway, so yeah, she was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's hit a drive-thru. So we hit a drive-thru. She was like, girl, I see you tomorrow at school. We hit a drive-thru. She took me home, and I was like, girl, go home, be careful, call me when you get home. So she was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So the next day, when we get to school, she was like, I got something to tell you. And I was like, what you gotta tell me? And so she was like, I tell you after school. And I was like, why you gotta tell me after school? She was like, because, girl, I got something to tell you. And I was like, okay. So she was like, girl, brown eyes want to talk to you. Want to talk to me? She was like, yeah. And I was like, I don't know about that. Because if you're in the vicinity like this, your brother, you're a street pharmacist. I'm in high school, looking at this man. You been out of high school for a while. You've been out of high school for a couple of years, good buddy. So I was like, girl, she was like, girl, the money. And I'm sitting in my head, and this is why I said wilding out at this point in time was a little oblivious to certain things, because it's like, at this point in time, you're just scratching the surface to getting out, to being able to hang out. So you're a little oblivious to certain things, and I'm like, girl. She was like, no, it's cool, I promise you, it's cool. She was like, girl, he's fine. And he was fine. He was fine. And I was a little baffled, because I was like, what do you want with me? And so at this point in time, she was like, why you don't realize like you're beautiful? Why you don't realize like you're pretty? And I was like, girl. And at this point in time, like, my hair is relaxed. My hair is long hair. Most of the time I'm wearing it in a ponytail because I'm pure tomboy, or I would wear it with the slick back with the little bun. At this point in time, like, there's no lashes, there's no makeup. Like, we would do like a little red lip in the liner, and the black liner around it. Well, my lips already have like a line around it naturally, so I would get the black liner and then kind of blend it before y'all was blending, and roll from there. If I can find a picture, I don't have nothing. Sorry, I don't have nothing. I don't think. I may have something. I may can find something where I can show y'all what I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah, so it's like, girl, like, I promise you I'm not even thinking nothing about no dudes. I'm not thinking about nothing. I'm not thinking about none of that. And like, again, like, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm cool, but I don't think like I'm the standard. Like, I'm what dudes will actually go after for me, because my mind at this point is corrupt. It's like, all these niggas want to do is and go. That's it. They not really feeling you. Again, I'm a child, but the little girl is who's like talking and who's standing up and who's, because the little girl was like, I gotta protect me. So I was like, girl, I thought you had something to tell me. I thought you had something like exciting to tell me. She was like, that is exciting. She was like, girl, all the girls want brown eyes. All the girls want brown eyes, and brown eyes want you. And I was like, girl, left it alone, nothing, right? So this one particular night, she was like, was my mama gone? My mom was gone. This was during the Olympics. Oh my God. This was during the Olympics. This had to be like right in the beginning of it. This was right in the beginning of it. My mom was gone. So this particular night, she was like, girl, let's go to the club. And at this point, this particular night, I think it was teenage night. No, it was just a regular club. It was just regular club night. It was just a regular club night. And the difference was, we would know people at the door, which was how we were able to be let in. That's how we was able to sneak in a little bit. Because I think you had to be like 17 and up or 16 and up. Anyway, we were able to sneak in. And it was us partying with the grown folks. It was grown folks in there. So this particular night, she was like, girl, come on, let's go to the club. You don't ever go to the club. You don't ever go out. Come on, let's go out. Come on, let's go out. Let's have fun. We don't ever go out. And I think at this point in time, like, her dad was beefing about something. Unsure. But I know she was at my house. And I was like, all right, let's go out. So we go to the club. And we go to the club. Brown Eyes is at the club. Brown Eyes is at the club with his homeboy. And so he's sitting on the side of the club. He's sitting on the side of the club. And at this point in time, me and my mama, like, we were beefing. And we had this conversation because she was asking me stuff about, because at this time she's dating truck driver. And she's asking me certain things in certain scenarios, like she's trying to have a conversation because we're trying to get an understanding between each other, where it's not just literally anger, but there's trying to be communication. Basically, like, you're talking to me and trying to get a response where you can comprehend what's going on and what I'm feeling, so to speak. Because it's like, girl, the time when you're supposed to protect me, you're supposed to fix the situation, you didn't. You didn't. And it was like you chose him over me. And so, like, because we're always beefing. And so it was like her current boyfriend had said some weird, ill situations. And I was like, when he had started showing up, like, he would call her and be like, hey, I'm at this accident. She was like, oh, I'm going to meet a truck driver. And you would leave. And then 20, 30 minutes later, he's outside knocking on my window. And you'll be sitting at the exit waiting for him for 30 minutes to an hour. And then you'll call and be like, is he at the house? Yes. Don't open the door. I'm not. And it's like, warning, 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 warning. Anyway, but like, and he had asked to spend the night. This particular fight, this was before she went to the Olympics, and so he had asked to spend the night, and she was like, "Are you comfortable?" And I was like, "No," and so she got mad. She got mad and cussed me out. And she called my aunt and was telling my aunt she was like, everybody's not like Nightmare, and you're not even that pretty. Like, why do you think that every man wants you? And it wasn't that I thought he wanted me. I just thought it was weird that he wanted to spend the night when you're at work. You're not even here. You were working the 12 midnight to 12 noon shift. Why does he want to spend the night when you're not here? I've been spending the night and handling the house by myself without him. I don't need him here. And you came, like, during that time, after you asked me if I was comfortable, and I'm telling you no, and after you got off the phone with my aunt, this ninja came downstairs and was like, since you accusing me of sexually assaulting you, and he used the R word, since you're accusing me of that, I might as well be that. And you started anyway. So, like, we're trying to have a conversation, and she's trying to ask me, and she's not getting clarity and understanding, like, where I'm coming from, because, and truth be told, I'm not even telling her everything, because it's like, at this point in time, it seems like your dude you bringing around is attracted to your daughter, and instead of you realizing how sick they are, you were blaming, like, me, like the blame was on me. And we had this conversation before. I was like, yeah, let's go to the club. Like, I agreed to go to the club. I don't even like the club. I don't even like hanging out in the club. But I made a decision out of anger. So it was like, yeah, let's go. And so Brown Eyes was there. And he was like, how you doing? And so I was like, hey. And so he was like, dang, like that. Now, mind you, it's loud music. And you're sitting in a chair. And so for me, like, to hear you, I'm like, what? Like, I'm bending down and you're talking in my ear. Again, you are way older than me. So you have a beer in your hand and they just like alcohol on your breath. And so I'm frustrated. I'm ticked off because me and my mom has been arguing on the phone because we were arguing about that situation. And for whatever reason, I don't know why she couldn't comprehend how weird the situation was. I don't know. So, like, I'm irritated. Like, I'm just making, this whole night, I'm making decisions out of anger. Out of pure, unhealthy emotions. So he was, he was like, dang, like that. And I was like, my bad. Like, my head is in a whole nother different space. I don't even like clubs. And so he was like, yeah, me either. And I was like, oh, real? And he was like, yeah. Because literally, like, we're screaming, I don't even like clubs. Yeah, me either. Like, that's how we're talking because we're trying to talk over the music. So he was like, yeah, let's get out of here. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so I was like, well, let me find Wildin' Out. So when I found out, I was like, girl, come on, let's go. We're going to Brownouts house. And so she was like, we are? And I was like, yeah. And so she was like, are you okay?
Hey, you cool?
And I was like, yeah, I'm cool. Come on, like, we're going to Brown House. I was like, don't you said you wanted to hang out. Come on, let's hang out. I was like, didn't you tell me, like, he liked me? And she was like, yeah, but... Which, of course, it wasn't me. This was literally not like me. She was like, this is not like you. You sure you want to go? And I was like, yeah, it's cool. Come on, let's go. My mama at the Olympics. Let's go. She was like, okay. Now, we're in her car. So, my car is sitting at the house. So, what it looks like is it's a dark house. I'm asleep. Ready for school. Was this a school night? I don't think so. No. This was not a school night. This was a Friday. So, she was like, okay. And I was like, girl, come on, let's go. So, we get in her car. Yes. We get in her car and follow them. So, we followed them and end up at Brown Eye's house. So, we all sitting in the living room. And you could tell, like, it was a house, but it wasn't like nothing. It was a bachelorette. It was a dude house. It was nothing extravagant. You can literally tell, like, ain't no female living here. You could tell. It wasn't nasty, but you could tell. Like, the girls who get it. Like, you could tell. It's like, this is definitely a bachelor pad. You can tell. It's a certain feel. You can tell. So, anyway, so we was just sitting there watching TV or whatever. And so, he was like, come on, come in the room with me. And I was like, all right. And so when she said it, when I said that, she was like, what? And so I was like, oh, you good? So, because remember, Brown Eyes was there with his homeboy. So, he, and on the, no. We parked her car. We parked her car at her stepmom's house. We parked her car and got in the car with him, and we was in the back seat. Because he didn't want us to know, like, exactly where he lived at this point in time. So we were in the back seat. Because the reason why I said that is because the whole way over there, my conscience, my inner person is saying, what are you doing? Why are you in the car? This is not you. You're angry. You're upset. What are you doing? Please don't make decisions out of anger. Like, literally, there's certain things, like, y'all want to call maybe your ancestors, your inner spirit, your conscience, whatever. There's always a small voice. Or the angel and the devil. There's always a small voice talking to you saying, don't do this, don't crash out, walk away, this is not worth it, this is not going to end well. There's literally the voice in my head saying, what are you doing? Literally, I can like I'm sitting in the back seat. I can see myself as we're riding the street lights. Like, every time you pass a street light in the dark, you know how, like, it flashed over you in the car. Like, I can see all of that. Now, mind you, it was kind of crazy because he was like, I don't really want y'all to know where we stay. Well, where I stay. But it's like, she date hood. We know this hood. Like, even with us not living over here, we know this hood. And so, I guess it was a precaution. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, we parked the car. And he was like, and then I don't want but one car, like, in front of my house. Made sense later. Anyway, So when we get there, so I told him like his homeboy was with him. So I was like, "Oh, you good?" So she was like, "Yeah." So she knew the homeboy. She knew Brown Eyes, and she knew the homeboy. Again, homeboy and Brown Eyes, like they were part of Hood's crew. So you knew him. And so she was like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm straight." And I was like, "Okay." She was like, "Are you good?"
Heifer, are you cool?
It's like, "Is you cool?" that type of, "Are you good?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she looking at me like, "Who are you?" Like literally, cause none of this is normal me. Because I'm making decisions out of anger. Because it's like at this point in time, it's like, how can you not believe me? Like I am living with my mama and making these dumb decisions. Like these decisions are gonna affect her, and they don't. They only affect me. Anyway, at this point in time, like I'm not sexually active because of the trauma that I've endured. There's no interest in me being sexually active. So again, when Tyler is like, y'all had it better and easier than us because we have phones and we have to live this stuff over the internet. Right. Y'all have the opportunity to prove that this is a lie. We didn't have that. So the rumor that started about me sleeping with this little boy in 6th grade still came up in 12th grade. Because it was my word against his. Right. Anyway. So we go in the room, and when we go in the room, like we're just laying in the bed. He's not forcing nothing. Like we're just talking, and so I was like, "So why don't I tell me like you like me? What's up?" And so he kind of turned over and looked at me because again I'm straightforward with it, and so he was like, "Yeah, that's true." He was like, "I did, have Hood reach out to her and be like, hey, like I'm interested in your sister. Like, tell me more about your sister." And I was like, "What is it about me?" He was like, "I could tell, like, you got a strong spirit. Like, I could tell you smart. I could tell." He was like, "I could just tell." He's like, "I like you." He's like, "And you're beautiful." And I was like, "How old are you?" At this point, I'm 17. He was like, I was like, "Nah, be real with me. Be 100. Keep it 100 with me. I'm very huge on honesty. Keep it straight up with me. Let me decide for myself." And so he was like, "I'm 26. Oh, Lord Jesus. I'm 17. He's 26. So I was like, "Where's your lady at? Where's your girl?" So he was like, and I was like, "Don't lie to me." And so he was like, "I'm all right. I'm gonna be real with you. I have a girl in Florida. I have a child with her, but I'm digging you. I like you. I'm digging you." I was like, "I'm still in high school. I don't have nothing to offer you. What is it?" And he was like, "I promise you, like I just told you, like you giving off this, like you have this strong spirit, like I could tell, like like you're mature for your age." Like I can tell, like like you're different. And I was like, "Right." And so in my mind, I'm saying this is bull. This is bull. But I'm also thinking the biggest issue that these predators in my house, like it's my virginity. So if I get rid of that, I'm no longer the target, because I just want my mama to be happy, and I just want me and my mama to get along, because she's made very clear, like, you're not leaving truck driver alone. Like, the issue is me. So I figure it's like, well, if I get rid of this, you no longer have a target or a goal to achieve. So I was sitting there and I was like, if I want to ask you to do something for me. And he was like, what's up? And I was like, I'm a virgin. And so when I said that, remember, we're laying in the bed. So we're fully clothed. So he sits up. He sits up. And he was like, okay, this is our first night hanging together. He says, okay. And I was like, I want you to take my virginity. And he lays back down and he's quiet for a good 5 minutes. And he says, Angel, I really want you to think about this. I really want you to think about this. He said, once it's gone, it's gone. And he said, and there's just certain things that come with this that you're probably not ready for. So I really need you to be sure about this. Like, I don't want you to be making like with your impulsive decision. And I was like, no, I'm sure. I know what I'm doing. And he was like, and I was like, no, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And so he was like, I was like, I'm not trying to set you up. It's nothing like that. And I was like, I promise you I'm a virgin. I was like, if you want to use your finger to check, you are more than welcome to. And so he was like, no, I believe you. I believe you. So he was like, he's like, not sit how can I, like, rise up. It's not sit up, but more like rise up. You know, like you laying on your stomach, like you kind of rise up. So you kind of rise up, and before you hover over my body, you say, I'm honored. I promise you. He's like, I'm honored. In my mind, my emotional, impulsive mind, I'm thinking, after this, I'm never going to see you again. Because this is my first night meeting you. This is our first night hanging out, and I'm giving up the cookie snatch. So, you're not going to respect me. I'm not going to see you again. Right? So, you get over me and you start kissing me. He was very gentle. He took his time. That stuff was painful as all get out. That was painful as hell. Now, mind you, my hymen had already been broken, and that's a whole nother story. And it wasn't because of intercourse. I don't know where it's at on the list, but it's a whole nother story. Anyway, he was very gentle, but that stuff hurt. This magical fantasy moment that y'all planning in y'all head, and it ain't that. I don't care how gentle, I don't care how slow he goes. That muscle entering that canal for the first time is painful. 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 Anyway, it was painful. But after you get through the painful part, depending on the person, he was very gentle. And he was like, I want you to enjoy this. And what's crazy is, y'all, I was so zoned out. It was like, like, for me, it was like, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? Why are people making this a big deal? Like, why is this a target for me? What's the big deal? What's the big deal? So we spend the night, the whole night I'm in the room. So when the sun comes up, it's morning. Literally after, like, we had talked or whatever, he kept asking. He kept asking. And I'm not even gonna front, he was a pure gentleman. He kept asking. He was like, are you okay? You sure you made the right decision? Like, he was. I know the age difference is a lot. I know. He was a pure gentleman. He did not take advantage of the situation. He constantly reiterated and asked me, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? He did. Even after, he was like, are you okay? Do you need anything? Do you like, yeah. I've been on birth control for the longest, so he ain't know that. But I had been on birth control, so yeah, there was no condom. Was there a condom? No. Nope. Nope. There wasn't. No. So, in my mind, again, it's like, oh, I'm cool for the baby. Not even think about the other Anyway. Yeah, so this morning we get up, and so he was like, you good? Like, we need to go ahead and take y'all back, because he was like, I got some business to handle. I got some business to take care of. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so he was like, he was like, I want to take y'all to breakfast. He was like, but, because his pager kept going off. At this time, we had pagers. His pager kept going off. So he was like, I want to take y'all to breakfast, but I got, stuff to handle. So he did the same thing Hood did. You pull out this water money, go get y'all some breakfast. All right. So you gave me money. You went out, and Wildin' Out is on one sofa, and his homeboy is on the other. He didn't really need the name. Homeboy he was cool, kind of like, he had like a real calm spirit. He was real cool. He was really kind of quiet, and so he was like, hey. So when he was waking him up because he was sleeping on the sofa, like, how dudes like this, and he had his cap like over his face like that. And so she was on the sofa, and she had her back turned. He was like, hey. So he was waking him up, and I went and woke her up. Like, I was checking. I was like, come on, girl, we gotta, we getting ready to go. And so she was like, all right. So, I don't know if this it's over an hour. I know, but I want to make it one part. Anyway, so, excuse me. So she was, I'm checking her. She was like, okay. Like, she looking crazy or whatever. So we get in the car. They take us back to her stepmom's house. We get in the car, and so she was like, where we going? She was like, girl, and I was like, come on, let's go get something to eat. So she was like, okay. So we hit the drive-thru, and then we go to my house, and we shower up or whatever. And so after we shower up, after we ate, and like we sitting there, so she was like, so he your boyfriend now? And I was like, nah. And so she was like, oh. So she was like, what happened? Like, he a good kisser? Because that's all you thinking that it went. I was like, yeah, the kissing was cool. And I was like, but what's the big deal about this sex stuff? And so she was like, you slept with him? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, why? Why? Because like I said, like, out of the group, I was the last virgin. Everybody had already did, and they was like, it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Like, I mean, it's certain areas that feel good. It was like, just like, save it, please save it, right? And so I was like, because, and like I explained to her, I was like, girl, like, it's like this target type situation. So if I get rid of it, maybe I won't be a target anymore. Because at this point in time, like, my mom was discussing certain things with truck driver, and you were using that against her. You were manipulating the situation just like Nightmare. Anyway, so she was like, why? Oh no. Why? And I was like, girl, I'm straight. I just don't see the hype. Because there would be times when my friends would be like, girl, I need some. Because, ooh. And I was like, what's the hype? And so she was like, maybe after you've, repeatedly done it, you will understand. I ain't understand until I got older. And then it was somebody who paid attention. Trust me. If you're still a virgin, save it. I promise you. Save it. Or even if you feel like you need to. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of stuff. Anyway. So, in my mind, I was like, girl, it's whatever. So, we went on with the weekend or whatever. She went home. And, again, like, I'm home by myself. So, it's like Monday after school. I get out of school at 12. And I'm sitting on my front porch on the steps. We had like 2 block steps. So I'm sitting on there, like I had my phone, and then I had my pager just in case, like my pager was going off and I could call people. And, you know, call people back. But I'm just sitting there because I'm a country girl. Sitting there, no shoes, don't no house shoes on. Like, I got on just sitting on my porch watching the cars go by. Sitting at the dock of the bay. Just sitting there, literally. I ain't got no homework, nothing. Like, I already ate. I'm chilling. So my pager goes off, and I'm looking at the number, and I'm like, who is this? Right? This is like Monday, Tuesday. So I put it down because I don't know the number, and I was like, maybe it's the wrong number. So the number comes up again, and then it was like 911. So I called the number back. And when I called the number back, and I was like, who is this? But when the person was like, hello, and I was like, who is this? And Brown Eyes was like, so you was just go ghost me? And I was like, in my mind, I asked this man to do this because it was like, there's no way he's gonna respect me, because this is the first night that we met, like we're talking in person, having a longer conversation farther than the introduction. There's no way this man is gonna respect me. I'm not gonna hear from him again, because there are dudes who date a girl for years, months at a time, and after you get the cookie snatch, y'all ghost them. In my mind, again, I'm thinking, that's all he want. I'm not the standard. I'm never gonna hear from him again. Cause in my mind it was like I'm just taking the target off my back. Cause this got to be a way for these ninjas that my mama messing with to leave me alone. Cause once I tell my mama like this is gone, you pass it on to this ninja, I'm no longer a target. And me and my mama will be okay. I'm a child. That's how I was thinking, child. Anyway, and so I was like, who is this? And so he was like, Brown Eyes. And I was like, how did you get my pager number? Wilding out. And I was like, oh, what's up? And so he was like, what's up? And he was like, we're not going to talk about the situation. And I was like, what situation are we talking about? He was like, Angel. It's not funny. Angel, he was like, you don't just do that. He was like, you don't just do that and then think that I was gonna let you walk away. I said, in all honesty, that's what I thought. I was like, in all honesty, that's why I asked you. And he was like, I'm confused. So I broke it down for him. And so we had this long 2-hour conversation. And before the conversation ended, that's when he was like, I want you to be my girl in this state. You know about the girl in Florida. All right. So I was like, okay. And I was cool with it because, again, it was like, you got a girl in Florida. You gonna be paying me no attention. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. And that is the story time of my V card and the street pharmacist. My point is, I have watched young kids. They had to be at least 12, 13, no more than 13. 14, if that. I've worked in the pediatric practice, and some kids are starting to be sexually active at 10 and 11. Y'all, please, stop rushing to grow up. Stop rushing to grow up. Don't make decisions out of anger. Don't think if you give up your V card to this little boy that's going to keep him and you're so in love that... Please. Don't make decisions out of anger. Don't be like me. Be better than me. Please. Please. Yeah. And that's the story time. That's the end. That's the end. That's the end. If going back, let me say this. Looking back, I wouldn't have done what I did. I was 17. I wouldn't have done what I did because I was making decisions out of anger. And then I was trying to fix a situation that couldn't even be fixed because I wasn't the one who had the issue. Truck driver and Nightmare did. They were sick, not me. My mom not having an understanding of that, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is because you were raised by descendants of slaves, it was more of like, I guess you just grin and bear it. I don't know. I can't speak for my mama. I can't. So yeah. All I'm saying is don't do things out of anger and emotion and out of impulse. Really make solid decisions. When that little voice is talking to you and saying, what are you doing? Think about this. Look beyond what you see. I tell my son that a lot. Look beyond what you see. Look beyond this moment. How is this going to affect you after this moment? Yeah. I love you the most because you're definitely the dopest in your life. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh. So, yeah. I told my mama. After my mom had got back, it had been months. Months. And at this point in time, like, Brown Eyes is, like, he's my boyfriend. Like, he wasn't, like, secretive, nothing. Like, you were letting people know, like, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. Right? To the point where, like, you would call me, like, if you couldn't get me on my line, you would call my mom's line and be like, hey babe, or like if my mom would answer, he'd be like, hey, how you doing? He would call my mom about her last thing. He was like, is Angel there? Like literally. And I never brought him to meet my mama. My mom's a cop. Anyway, so I was like scratching. I was either scratching her scalp or greasing her scalp, and like I was like, okay, tell her. And at this time, like my heart is beating, my heart is racing. Like I'm sitting here, and so I was like, Ma, how would you feel if I told you I wasn't a virgin anymore? And so she was like, are you a virgin? And I didn't say anything. And it was like this long pause. It was this long moment of silence. And so she was like, okay, so that would mean that that you are having sex. She was like, well, you're already on birth control, which was once we started sports, you had to be on birth control as far as the girls. I don't know what she did for my brother, but as far as the girls, like once you started extracurricular activities, you had to be on birth control. So I started taking birth control pills in 7th grade. Yes. But 7th grade is when I made the basketball team. So she was like, well, you're already on birth control. The only thing that I can tell you is to be careful. And so in my mind, I'm going, this plan didn't work. This plan didn't work. You did all of that for nothing.